Hello, everyone. How you doing tonight? It's me again, Russell Mills, November 18th, 2019. I want to say hello to everybody. Basically, the reason the title of this is why do black people want a financial hug from white people? Because basically, we spend trillions of dollars in this country and we don't have nothing to show forth collectively. People in America, we spend trillions. We spend over $2 trillion in this country. Just talking about us, but with a quote unquote less people on this planet. Just reading little articles, update how do black people spend their money, the racial wealth gap. This is by Gary A. Johnson, publisher blackmeninamerica.com. This is update September 29th, 2019, originally posted on November 5th, 2010. It basically says how do black people spend their money has been a hotly debate topic not only on this site, but in our office at social events and beauty and barbershops across America. The article has been the most read and commented article for 9 years running. Once I learned that this was the most popular and discussed article on the website, I decided to do some research and share this information with others. Let's start by watching this short video. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna see if this thing.
What are the stereotypes of the 1%? Entitled, selfish, me, white. They don't play by the rules, not thinking about others that may have come from a different side of the track. The 1%, as you well know, is overwhelmingly white. We're talking about the top tier of Americans who have and own a majority of the nation's wealth. These are people who are uber rich. There are a few African Americans who have made it to that tier, but compared to the number of whites in the 1%, they are literally a percent of the 1%. So why is the 1% so white? It has to do with something called the racial wealth gap. For every dollar of wealth held by the typical white household, the typical African American household owns only 6 cents of wealth. 6 cents. You heard right. So how did we get here? When you think about wealth, you have to understand that it's generational, that wealth left over generations actually compounds and builds and grows. African Americans were held as slaves and they weren't allowed to earn any income. They weren't allowed to own things at one point in this history, and that actually has contemporary effects. Effects Eddie Brown knew all too well, but was able to overcome. Then we bought the building next door, because since we didn't do that, we bought this. And then just September ago, we bought the next one too. So Brown Capital is basically all 3 townhouses. Today, Eddie is the CEO of Brown Capital, a firm with over $8 billion in assets under management. Along with his wife Sylvia, the Browns are hoteliers, patrons of the Black Arts, and philanthropists. Eddie and Sylvia Brown led the way towards making this building a reality, one of the largest gifts from an African-American family in this nation's history. So you were born to a teenage mother in the Jim Crow South, on the wrong side of the track. On the wrong side of the track, which means, as they say down south, dirt poor. But there's another concept, though, that people say, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. This is America. You know, our pastor used to say, people make that statement. What they don't realize is many people don't have boots. So you got to help get the boots. Then maybe they can lift themselves up. Is there an obligation, particularly in communities of color, to give back? I feel very strongly that there should be. I mean, how did they get there? Surely a lot of it was talent, but somebody had to look out for them and help them along the way.
Despite their success, the Browns have still faced certain barriers to wealth creation. Home ownership is one of the pillars of wealth, and Blacks continue to face discrimination in the housing market.
You know, we've sold a couple of homes over the years, and I remember the realtor said, let's take down photos so one seeing the home that's white won't recognize it as being a Black homeowner. And I was just shocked. We were shocked. They said family photos around, should come down if you want to get a sale or a good price.
So I'll take you into the library now. It's one of my favorite rooms.
Even education hasn't leveled the playing field. Today, Blacks with a bachelor's degree have less than half the wealth of whites who didn't graduate from college.
I had two wonderful parents. They really strived for excellence.
So did you guys hear that? About education? Like I said, Black people, we're too busy trying to get a hug from white people, from the financial aspect. Again, we can do what we have to do for ourselves. But again, a lot of us, we don't. And it's going to say, here are the facts. 96.1% of 1.2 trillion households in the top 1% by income were white. America's 100 richest people control more wealth than the entire Black population. The 5 large white landowners own more land than Black people combined. So the average Black family would need 228 years to build wealth of a white family today. And it says the fight for the progress is median net worth, 265,000 white families, 28,000 African-American families. It says, I predict that even after reading this article, there are a significant number of Black people who will not change their habits and work towards changing their situation. Over time, when things go unchallenged, they seem normal. It says, after centuries of slavery, Black people must realize that they need to work towards building generational wealth and learn to invest their money and establish trust funds for their wealth that can be passed down to future generation. So what does this really mean? It says, according to the Nielsen Company research, Black consumers are speaking directly to brands is unprecedented. Ways in achieving headline-making results through social media, Black consumers have brokered a seat at the table and are demanding that brands and marketers speak to them in ways that resonate culturally and experimentally. If these brands want their business, and with African Americans spending $1.2 trillion annually, brands have a lot to lose. It says, our research shows that Black consumer choices have a cool factor that has created a halo effect, influencing not just consumers of color, but the mainstream as well, says Cheryl Grace, Senior Vice President of U.S. Strategic Community Alliances and Consumer Engagement, Nielsen. Says these figures show that investments by multinations, conglomerate, I can't even say this word, and R&D to develop products and marketing that appeal to diverse consumers is indeed paying off handsomely. Says generally speaking, Black people are still living for the moment with the hell with the future mindset when it comes to money. Too many Black folks tend to only worry about themselves and the money that they have now. This is the way of thinking is crippling and must stop now. This is a common scenario for many Black folks when they get a huge chunk of money or their tax refund deposit to run to the nearest application store, high-end mall, or car dealership. We just love those shiny new rims. I did a video about this last year about basically the same things. According to the State of Work in America, Black people spend 4% more money annually than any other race. despite the fact that they are the least represented race and the race that lives in poverty at the highest rate. So this is, if current economic trends continue, the average black household will need, like I said earlier, 228 years to accumulate as much wealth as their white counterparts hold today. This, for the average Latino family, would take 84 years. Says absent significant policies, interventions, or a systematic change in American economy, people of color will never close the gap. So what's that go to show you, everybody, about things? Okay. What's that go to show you about things today? It says blacks spend. What's this? This is the power of black dollar. Ethnic hair and beauty aids. This is blacks spend 54.4 million. Women fragrances, 152 million. Feminine hygiene, 54.1 million. Men's toiletry. This is just black spending, says 62 million. Personal soap and bath needs, 573.6 million. Frozen unprepared meat and seafood, 761.7 million. This is refrigerated juices and drinks, 578.2 million. This is shelf-stable juices and drinks, 1.04 billion. This is spices, seasons, extras, 430.2 million. This is bottled water, 110.3 million. This is insect repellents, this is 176.6 million. Gum, 122.8 million. Shortening / oil, 352 million. Households, 407.8 million. Detergents, 828.8 million. Cookware, 136.8 million. Charcoal loggers, accessory, 43.5 million. So again, and it was for the total spend for the hair and 63.5 million. The women's was women's fragrance is 679.4 million. This is total spent. Men's toiletry, 308.3 million. Personal soaps, 3.04 billion. Frozen unprepared and seafood, this is a total spend, 4.38 billion. It's like, this is a lot of money that black people are spending. And this is what I'm saying. We are spending our money on foolish stuff, and then we look for a hug from the white man or woman and say, please help me out, because they're not going to. Okay, first and foremost, because let me tell you something, America, we don't have a culture. We don't know who we are. We don't know where our lineages are. We don't know if we're from Africa. We're part of Africa. There's so many, because Africa is a big continent, so we don't know we're part of that if we're even from there. See, America has blinded all of us to the fact that, a lot of us just don't care. Only as long as the dollar's in our pocket, that's all we care about. You know what I'm saying? This is, and this is what, they're making women be like, just as well as men. Chase the dollar, forget about culture, don't understand it. But let me tell you something, other people, other cultures like the Chinese, the Arabs, some of the Latinos, some people from different parts of Europe, France, Germany and all these other places or whatever, they know about their culture. Black Americans are the only one that don't have a culture. And we choose to stay ignorant on purpose, it seems like. So again, like I say to us all the time, we need to wake up, and we need to get, our shit together, because like I said, a lot of us are dying. A lot of us are not in the positions of financial, just basically for the future. We're just, a lot of us are not where we need to be financially. And, even myself, I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm trying to see if I could work like 2 jobs. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy, but this is what, you know what I mean? And that's not a lot of, you know what I'm saying? But still, at the end of the day, we still have to try to do better. But see how much money that we spend in this country, and what do we have? Do we have our businesses? All that money that we're spending, we're giving back, and we don't even have a dime. And then people still living in poverty, still living in the hood, still living in check to check like we all are right now. Okay? They said it would take 228 years for a black family to accumulate the wealth of a white family, and it would take a Latino family 84 years. That's a lot. So again, like I say to people, this ain't something that I'm trying to say, I'm trying to be Mr. Controversial. This is facts, okay? And a lot of us are looking for hugs from the white man or woman because we think these jobs really get 2 shits about you when they really don't, okay? All you are is just a number. Everybody's a number, you know what I mean? White people, Asian people, black people, whatever. We're all Asian. We're all numbers. So like I said to people all the time, we need to take the time to help ourselves and understand who we are and have a culture. That's the key. Have a culture, understanding who we are, because they like when we're divided, and they like when we quote unquote black people kill each other or hurt each other. So this is what they like. They like all this nonsense. So again, like I said, we need to stop the genocide of black people, because that's what they want. They want us to be dead and gone. So by giving us all these bullshit foods and all this other shit, and the education's shitty, and it's like, this is how it is. You're having these white teachers that are teaching black kids. It's like, white teachers don't understand what black people go through, and people are like, oh, how can you say that or whatever? Because I can, because black people should be teaching black people. Okay, I try to tell this to my son that's autistic. Like, look, some of these white people ain't gonna like you. They're not gonna like you. They're not gonna teach you what you need to know. So you have to do your own research. You know what I'm saying? Get off the games and play, and and try to read some books. And if I have to take you to the library, I will. But at the end of the day, this is how it has to be. But that's it. You know what I'm saying? It's very disgraceful how much we spend our money over foolishness, and then we don't have a pot to piss in, and then our bank accounts are negative or what. And let me tell you something again. Even if you get your paycheck from a tax refund, and let's say you get like $2,000, and then you spend it on something stupid, you know what I'm saying? We need to invest. Stocks and bonds, even myself, not trying to sound hypocritical on this, we need to invest. I need to invest, because if we have family, we want to give some type of generational wealth. But that's basically it, everybody. But feel free to check out my YouTube channel. My name is Russell Mills, RussellMills, May 22nd, 2017. My first video is Why Black People Settle for Less. Feel free to check it out. Spread the word. Some stuff you're not going to agree with, that's fine. Do what you have to do. Everybody take care. Peace.